Wednesday. I hope everybody's having a great week. And yeah, you can see this little background here. It's gradually getting a little more and more organized every day now. Just like before I kind of get started on working at my desk work, try to get a few more things taken care of back there. And I'm looking back. I'm just looking at the backdrop now and thinking, you know what, it's gonna look okay once I get it all like tidied up back there. Put some fun stuff on the walls and whatnot. And I also figured out how to get I had the light that I had yesterday. It's a huge difference. I never imagined that a light would make this much of a difference. And anyway, I had the light. It was like on my desk, and it was getting in the way of everything. I'm like, and then I realized the stand that I had gotten for this light, I had a stand around, like because over time I've been accumulating some of this stuff, and so I actually had a stand, and it works pretty well. So I put it off to the side of the desk, and you can see it gets a little bit of shadow, but it's a huge difference to like balance out the big like garage light that's up there. I mean, honestly, it makes a huge difference. So yeah, today I'm going to be showing how to take. I mean, you could use this technique honestly for just about any kind of like structured planning exercise, to take it like quickly map and then expand the kind of visual design or kind of visual communication into like a comprehensive, pretty detailed planning, at least draft. And this is kind of where it gets to me with like using AI is it's really important to like, there's places to use AI and it's really great. Like if you don't edit and fine tune and like make sure that it's communicating what you want, then it's not going to be effective, right? So for a planning document, it doesn't have to be written in, creative stylistic language, but it needs to be accurate and simple. And so this output here will create like even not even just a plain document, like say for marketing, it can create, content ideas and all kinds of different things. And it's like, where do you draw the line of, is this, useful or is it slop? And you're going to have to use AI to get there, get some distance, and defining what that threshold for you is going to be different for everybody. But I would say in terms of like, okay, now I've got to grind it out and write a lot of words. For me, I'm like, hey, I can speak those words and I can talk about them in organized ways, and then use AI to help shape and frame it and put it into things. It's a huge like augmentation of what I do. And so to say that I'm not going to use AI for this is crazy, but at the same time it's like it's important to be thoughtful. And I want to start today's conversation with this article I got from he just goes by Alex, and awesome like content about strategy. I was like, I want to be a strategist. And then I read his stuff. I thought, oh man, I have a long way to go before I can, get what this guy's doing. He's really talented and smart guy. And so I try to read. I usually read a lot of his stuff when it comes through. And he's got this newsletter called The Hidden Path, and I'll share like some kind of link in to his stuff, so that way he gets props. But anyway, he wrote about like when he does and doesn't use AI, and his take is a little different than mine, but he does have some really interesting thoughts in here. And the first one is these two types of problems. Okay, so, and to put it simply, like closed problems are things that have an answer. That's like, how do I fix my air conditioner? Now it might be really technically complex or whatever, and at some level like diagnosing it might be a little bit more of an open problem, but like it's kind of a known solution situation. It's just maybe you don't know the answers, and so you need a step-by-step guide, right? Open problems are more complicated. Like for me, I have this open problem of like, how do I go and like reinvent myself into like this next love, like how do I reinvent myself into the entrepreneur that I need to be for the next 10, 20 years of my life, that, that meets all the kind of these complicated requirements that dash with the way I hit with my reality. And it's a multi-dimensional challenge with like infinite numbers of solutions, right? And so I love how he lays this out, and it just got me thinking a lot. Now he goes on to talk more, and I'm not going to go into a lot of the details of his articles, right? Like, his opinion or whatever, like how he uses AI, right? In general, he's like, hey, like like helping follow a step-by-step process or researching is fine, but you can't use AI to solve, or he doesn't use AI to solve these open-ended problems. I guess in a sense, I'm going to maybe beg to differ just a little bit, because the goal of what I'm trying to do is use a structured decision modeling process and an analytical process to solve an open-ended problem. And now, again, is it going to come up with the answer? No, but it's going to come up with a much richer understanding of the problem and an iterative approach where I can continue to fine tune and go deep into solutions and de-risk those solutions, right? So that I can figure out like, hey, what do I need to do to actually make this work? So anyway, like I said, I love Alex Smith's writing. Appreciate his, his article today, just to kind of get me thinking a little bit. And he's on LinkedIn and YouTube and Instagram, so I'm sure you can find him if you decide to look. I'll post in the article itself some stuff about Alex. So so next up, actually, I want to show not that slide. I want to show this slide. So the exercise that I focused on today was it's connected to the board exercise. So the first iteration I went through and just did a whiteboard of this, and I thought it was a great exercise because it was like what I could get done in that day, and I liked quickly just going through and framing it, and then it didn't take a long time, right? Yesterday I did a bunch of other things, and today I'm really like pretty heavily focused just on like getting from where I'm at right now into a more comprehensive, like actual, like, real content and materials around this, and a game plan of figuring out what I need to do. And so there's just a couple of steps to this. And the first step is to go in, and I use, actually in this case, it's called Lucid Spark, which the whole like platform is Lucid, and then they have Lucid Spark, and is like the whiteboards essentially. So anyway, in the future I'll have a Spark, Lucid Spark graphic, but I just wanted to get into the show today. So in any case, the first step is for me was and a couple little things. So I used the little yellow note like stickies, and it works okay. What I like about, honestly, Lucid Spark as opposed to in Miro, which is a really small thing, but in Lucid Spark you can change the size of the subtext. Like you can have multiple different like font sizes inside of like one of the sticky notes, which is a small thing, but I like to do it this way. This just like really works well for me. And actually there's some other things like using Lucid cards would probably actually make this even a little easier to kind of separate the headline from the text and not have to worry about text formatting and other little things. But in any case, I went through this. I mean, these 8 cards, took me probably 30 minutes to kind of get some text down. And then the next step, which I do not have here, but I actually realized in order to do this and showcase this process, I needed to separately record a walkthrough of this particular chart. So what I did, I just created another room here on Restream, but there's lots of ways to record yourself. And what you do is you just have a dialogue about each of these different 8 cards, and I go from left to right, counterclockwise, and it just, talk for a couple of minutes about what this is, outline some things, whatever. I don't actually really stay super hyper focused. I try to get just my ideas out. Again, this is going to be an iterative process of like, you're going to learn, maybe change your mind as you go. It's not, there isn't an answer to this. It's a process that is going to gain increasing clarity and highlight the risks and challenges and things that you need to fix and do along the way. So, yeah, so this process, but again, spend a couple of minutes for each car. Let's say it's 2 or 3, and you can even time box yourself. But you can see it's not going to take a long time, right? You're going to get your ideas out, and then what you want to make sure you do is obviously you're recording this, and there's tons of different ways. You can download the recording, send it to different tools. Because I'm using Restream and they have a feature for the transcript, but in today's world with AI, like getting transcription is everywhere. So you can easily figure that out, how to get this content transcribed. And then the next step, what I do, the other piece is you want to make sure you create a PDF of the board itself. So you're going to want to have this board. It helps a lot to actually have the PDF. So because Notebook LM is going to be able to understand what's in a PDF. It'll extract the text from this kind of PDF. So again, using Lucid Spark, I just export this to a PDF, and I can load it up here easily also. And the next step then is to go to Notebook LM. So all I did in this case is really simple. Like you could bring in a ton of other materials here, and you can do, you can. I've done in other cases where there's been a lot of other discussion, dialogue about a product or offering. You can bring in lots of stuff. But in my case, all I really needed was the PDF and the transcript of my discussion and conversation with this. So what did I do for my prompt? All I did was I said, create a detailed discussion of each of the 8 factors based on the transcript and the PDF BizMap. So what it basically then comes down to, it says the 8-factor model is detailed in the provides services as a strategic framework to build and scale a consultative business focused on simplifying decision-making for leaders. Each factor is discussed in detail below. So it then creates for me like just kind of a summarize, like, okay, vision. The core vision is to become a trusted advisor to tech and business leaders, helping them simplify strategic decision making. Specifically, the target audience includes forward-thinking, growth-oriented change agents within organizations. The transformation sought is to help these leaders navigate complex ideas, assess situations quickly, and make higher quality decisions, right? So this is like great stuff. For me to write all this, it would take forever. I mean, these 8 like sentences are, they're crisp. It gives me like an ability to digest and read through my own ideas, and this is awesome, right? So I'm not going to go through all of the buckets right now. I'm going to keep working on this because I'm going to show the next level of exercise of how this works, okay, of what's going to happen next. So what I do here, once I get this, I just save it to a note so I have it, and then I copy this, and there's my Asana board, awesome, and then I just open a window here. And I'm just going to go to my drive, and I'm going to create a Google Doc. So I'm a principal user, like Gemini is my thing. And the reason why is that, I've been in Google Workspace forever. Even when I've sort of effectively, you could say, not even had a business. It's just like it's something I've always just have Google Workspace paid, and honestly, I'm super glad that Google, jumped in seriously on AI and got serious about it. So because I don't want to have to go outside. I don't want to have to go outside of Google, right? I as long as it does what I need it to do right here in Gemini, and I can work with my docs, right? This is still the way of working, you know? And I'm just going to call this the core vision, or actually, here, I'll call it the biz map outline. So this is going to become the, like, this becomes here the framework that I'm gonna then start creating different materials and content right around this. So what I like to do then is create another, like, a tab. So I'll create a tab for vision, and in the vision tab, then it's pretty straightforward, right? You can go to Gemini and say like, based on the vision in the biz map, and it'll probably be able to figure this out. Create a short brief and this is where I just play around. I'm probably not going to go through all of this today, right? This document for me becomes a working document. So, I'll start just creating different ideas here. You can say, like, so, headline: simplify your strategy, elevate your decisions. We are your trusted advisor dedicated to helping tech and business leaders cut through complexity and simplify, target audience, forward-thinking, growth-oriented leaders within organizations. What's the transformation? We empower you to navigate complex ideas, assess situations quickly, and consistently make. I'm going to say, yeah, so I'm going to, yeah, see, I like this through a focus. So, I'll just keep both of these here. Yeah. So I'm going to just, like, to me, like, for the vision, I probably don't need a lot more. I mean, to me, the vision is, like, simple, right? And this is like brand type stuff. Is this done? No, but I'm like, hey, this is not bad. I'll go with this. This is where it gets a little bit, a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to go here and value, right? So this is like, I don't know if it'll pick up the strategist. All right, so there's one thing in this that's not quite right. So yeah, so this is pretty good also. Yeah, the prompt here was really about like just writing. Like this is actually an important thing, especially when in the beginnings of the like on the early part of this. It's always really important to be thinking about who is the audience, right? Who are you speaking to? So when you're writing with AI and to write AI content, the idea is to make sure it's like, okay, first you want to start with, hey, I'm defining the audience, and then I want to write in messages that speak to that audience, right? And so that's the prompt that I used here is I just had it changed. So it was, I'm going to have to go back and edit this for sure, but it's, was based on the vision, create a short, oh, sorry, that was the marketing brief. Update this to include, okay, that was so sorry, based on the vision, write about 500 words explaining to the target audience the value they will get from working with strategists. And it actually worked. It understood that this is like about strategists. So this is pretty good. And then I'm going to actually like get into, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do all of these here. I'm going to do one prompt and we're going to just do all 8 of them. There you go. So we're just do vision, value, promotion, awareness. So based on the awareness factor, you can see I'm misspelling things. Honestly, when you're going for like focus flow, like the AI is usually going to figure it out, which is something else I really like a lot. So based on the awareness factor, create an invitation to a target audience member to watch an upcoming live stream where I break down a complex challenge with design. Also, let them know about the opportunity to be on the show itself and present their challenge analysis. So yeah, I really like, especially like in the outbound things, like in the awareness, creating like the actual content, right? Like create a cold email sequence for this, right? Some of the time, the best thing is, and I'm not going to go too deep into this, right? Like these are examples. So it would be better to say, hey, like, we have this upcoming event, right? It's going to be about X and, and so we're going to, so this is a great, like, again, listen, one of the ideas, the other pieces, and if you kind of go back to this like open-ended nature of this challenge here is when you're early, it's getting back to like MV, it's MVP, right? So this would be like strategist, biz model, like that, right? And yeah, when you're getting into this kind of awareness factor, yeah, just like create the content, create ideas, shape it. But what's going to end up happening is then you're going to say, okay, I got to send some emails or this, right? You're going to refer to this. This is, especially in early stages of a business or an idea, trying to create the whole picture of things when you have no idea how people are going to engage or interact. That's not what's important here. What's important is to kind of get some of these ideas out and be ready to like look through them and use them when they're needed, right? So next I'm going to have conversion. I'm going to put write content for a simple actually I'm going to focus here, write content for a booking page. All right, write content for booking page to schedule a 15-minute call to see if they qualify for a free 1-hour solution design session. So the idea here is like, hey, I'm going to offer a 1-hour solution design session if you qualify, right? Like, I'm going to do this for everybody for an hour. 15-minute clarity call. Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, and then actually, what's also nice about this gets into that like using AI for the known, like creating a landing page. There's a gazillion landing page, data out there about landing pages, right? You don't need to come up with like the structure. You can use AI to sort of noodle this. Again, have to go back through this, make sure it all makes sense and other things. This is not a bad place to start, right? So resources, create a this one, I don't know how this is going to go. We'll see. Create a resource plan for launching. I'll take it. It's fine. Right. All right. Let's see. Delivery. All right, so I'm going to go with under delivery. Just a great way to think about delivery is to think about the other one in delivery is a really good one, actually. The first one is the services agreement, right? Delivery is all about like, what do I deliver? And the and then also just like, how do I deliver effectively? So so there's a services agreement is the first part, and that could actually really kind of go under conversion. That there's to me, like, delivery begins with like signing up. So you could go either way. The other thing that's really helpful under delivery for any kind of services, but I mean honestly, even SaaS or almost just every business needs to think about like customer experience and onboarding. So like what is the onboarding experience to get to move people from like, hey, I just like decided to pay money to you, or like and then like what happens next, right? Because what happens right after people pay you money makes a huge difference. And hold on, I'm gonna put here um, so write a monetization and based on yeah, so this has secondary sponsors, ads, show fees. This looks pretty good. Create the goals, controls, and systems recommendations to support the business. It's a bit much, but yeah, I mean, this to me is like, this is pretty killer stuff. So I mean, honestly, um, Yeah, this exercise was awesome. I feel like I gained so much personal value. So that one was just like creating an outline of the systems, key goals, controls, and systems recommendations. So there's a lot of work that's going to go into editing and circling back on this. But I have to say this exercise right here, like, makes me feel like, okay. And honestly, my just at a high level, so my perspective is I need to launch this thing. I need to get this thing launched really next week. Like I don't have a week. I don't have weeks or months to go figure this out. I mean, I got to go fast, and I just got to nail it. And so, yeah, this is a really killer exercise for me in terms of like, you know, trying to come up with a way to get this organized and just get like the key ideas out. And then, tomorrow I feel like I could go through this and like, I'm probably not going to I'm not somebody that needs to have like the plan perfect or the documentation perfect. Like, I'm going to go through this and be like, okay, like, I'm going to probably, next step is going to be like, take this, go into like Asana and things I need. Like, this is that kind of MVF. Like, what are the like, 5 or 10 things that I have to have in place? And I think tomorrow I'm going to focus on, or even today, I'm probably going to work on some of that. And then maybe tomorrow it'll be like, okay, what are the like absolute like must haves in order to execute something like this? Right. And I've got a lot of it already. I've got Restream, but I probably need some kind of like accounting payment system. And not all of that has to be done on day one, but there's going to be like build, operate, right? So I'm going to build the most foundational pieces of this while I'm operating, and then fill in the gaps. And maybe in a week or from now, like the build is, the beginning of the whole build out is done, and then it's like, can I go execute? So yeah, man, I love this exercise for myself. I mean, the times that I've had really good business success is usually when I go through this exercise. What's hard is in most cases, I've gone through it with other people like Mike, or I had a partner with Mitch with Big M Marketing, and we grew that to like 30 clients. It didn't work out in terms of some of the money and stuff, but we did a good job of collaborating on planning. And so, I don't have a partner in doing this right now. And so, and I'm a very like verbal, like, I like to think out loud kind of person and think through my voice. And so this exercise helps me a ton, to do that and get it. It also, I'm like, hey, I know I can get through this. It's like 8 things, just get it done. Okay. And I will say this is a super key takeaway from what I've seen in other cases, and why is actually really a lot of the why of how I did this for myself is like, there's a sense of like, hey, I need to define a business, and I need to have these things. And so it gets like, there's this whole like, days or huge amount of time, like, what's the vision? And like, let me get it perfect. And then it's like, oh, and then I'm going to work on what's the value proposition. I'm going to work on something else. And the truth is, what I kind of came to the conclusion is that the most important thing is to have some kind of answer in all of these 8 buckets, even if it's not perfect, and to go through the 8 buckets over and over and refine all of them so that each of these pieces are coming together. And so many times that I've like worked with entrepreneurs in particular, there's this kind of hang up. It's like, okay, I've got through like 1 or 2 things, and then they're off on something else. And I'm like, what you really need to do is figure out, hey, like, take an hour and go through all 8 things. Think about the whole picture in and out quickly in whatever amount of mental bandwidth you have before you get caught up in all these other things. And then do that again and again, so that instead of 3 hours where you get through, let's say it's 3 or 4 hours of work, and you get through, like, you get through 1 of these 8 things or something, and it seems like it's really refined, but you're like, oh, you missed all these other pieces, and it's not going to work anyway. Whereas you say, hey, in those 3 or 4 hours, if you did the whole 8 thing 4 times, fine tuning it, thinking, geometrically this way, your final outcome, I I think it's going to be, from what I believe, it's just transformational. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm excited about this, and sharing this with other people. And, I'm certain that it's going to be validated, but, or it's validated by so many other activities, right? When you look at, say, strategic planning, you don't plan one goal, you look at all the goals, you look at the whole picture, and you look at it over and over, you refine the whole picture. It even comes back to what Alex talked about, like in his article, it's like, hey, when you have these open-ended problems, what you're trying to do is get all the pieces. You're never going to really get all the pieces, right? But you're trying to think about a holistic view of all the different forces or different things going on. And that's the important kind of thought process that goes into this kind of decision making. So anyway, thanks so much, everybody, for being a part of the show today, all 0 of you. And but you know what? It's all about distribution and what happens after the show. Eventually, I'm actually going to, be promoting shows so people come on. But right now, it's just me. And I like it this way. So anyway, I'm Govind, and this is, I offer strategy services for, here we go. I'm going to tell you what it is right here, to help business leaders simplify their strategic thinking making and make better decisions, to think, 360 degrees. And I called out to Oceanic, awesome AI platform my buddy Chris is creating, and Sorent, the AI infrastructure guys. So if you're interested in just a fun conversation and want to learn about visual design and solution design, just hit me up on LinkedIn, and have a great